Hello there. Welcome to the Art and Artist Podcast. My name is Kyle Ariel Knowles, and today's guest is Eddie Irvin. Eddie is the artist Goodshivers, and he produces instrumental piano for filmmakers and podcasters. Eddie creates custom piano music, including scores for audio dramatizations and instrumental projects like Listen While Sleeping or Thinking. His work ranges from flowing, pretty piano pieces designed to relax to tailored pieces for specific scenes or feelings and full-blown songs. Welcome to the show, Eddie.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks so much. That was a nice intro. I like that.
Where are you dialing in from?
I'm in Nashville.
That's so
Nashville,
cool.
Tennessee. Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, but it was too cold for us. And so we moved to Nashville, not just for the weather, a lot of creativity here, but we love it here. Getting a little too hot now, but it's better than the freezing cold in Buffalo.
I found you via TikTok.
Yeah. The algorithm gotcha. Love it. For You page. Yeah.
And I just love your feel-good songwriting, piano improvs, and I checked out your songs on Spotify and wanted to interview you. So my first question is, how did you get into music, piano, and songwriting?
That's great. Well, we're going back to age 5. I mean, my mom, we had a piano in the house, and my mom would play, and of course, on her lap and excited and teach me how to do it, and can we play this? And so they got us in lessons from pretty young. I just loved it. We did kind of the classically trained method, following the music and all that stuff. And I found that I really had songs inside of me. As I would play somebody else's songs, I would say, well, why don't we go this direction, or can I change it and go this direction? And little did I know that was that was kind of the beginning of the whole being creative with music thing it just kind of seemed to be inside me. But yeah, classically trained from age 5, and ever since I'm 39 now, so got a lot of years there, and have loved it my whole life.
And how long did you take lessons then for?
Through high school, once we got into high school, I really started kind of moving away from playing other people's songs and wanting to really do my own and kind of do more improvisation stuff and just writing songs. I started recording in high school as well. But I had a piano teacher that stuck with me most of that way and was really flexible to say, you know what, you don't want to do the same thing that other people are doing, or you want to kind of get into learning improvisation or learning chords or whatever else. Let's do it. So he was game, and a wonderful influence in my life, and just kind of guided me as I was then kind of reaching to play new songs and try to understand, pop music. Keep in mind, coming from classically trained, classical music seems, worlds apart from pop. But he was game and taught me how to navigate, a chord, different chords, like the Nashville number system, like 1, 4, 6, 5, all the same chords that are in every pop song, that kind of vibe.
And so did you first learn to read music, just like play exactly what's on the sheet music? And
you got it.
You learned the Nashville numbering system and started improvising and making your own songs then? Yeah.
And I would very often be practicing and playing what was on the sheet music. And then at a certain point, I'd still be following the music, but then I would say, oh no, I don't want to go that way. I want to go a different way. So I kind of heard, oh, I wish we could go this way instead, or, that. And then I started basically starting with playing the song, but then kind of breaking away and then improvising in that same kind of vibe. So that was fun.
So do you feel like it was just you practicing the Nashville number system, or did your teacher actually guide you as you were learning to improv?
I mean, it's both, and I can't remember like specifically, it was exactly this or exactly that. It was just kind of an insatiable love for music, an insatiable appetite for sitting down and creating, and really also an outlet. I mean, we're talking about, high school, middle school, high school, and you know how it gets, and there's a lot of energy and a lot of, you're becoming an adult, but you're not an adult yet. You've got all these feelings. And for me, it was a way to get all of it out, to be able to sit down and play and improvise was a way of getting that energy out and being able to, be creative at the same time. But really, I found that I needed it. I found that I gravitated towards it because I needed the music. I needed to make music in order to get this energy out. It helped me process my feelings, very, very personal and helpful in that regard. But then also just a love for, hearing a song and hearing the way that they took it and going, oh my God, I got to play that, or I got to figure that out. I remember watching Free Willy in the movie theater. That'll date me. I think maybe that was 1993 or so. there's a Michael Jackson song at the very end of it. And I came home singing it, and then I sat down and I played it. I figured it out. It's just a few chords. And that's where I kind of really started realizing, oh, I can hear music. I can hear, how songs are put together, and I can reproduce the song without having the music. It kind of broke me into that other direction.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've had one piano teacher that teaches that way. More like, I guess, do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, guitar.
Guitar. Okay. So a lot of times when you learn guitar, you don't have a teacher, or if you do have a teacher, it's just chords, and it's not about playing every note exactly. I mean, if you have tablature, on a guitar, you can play every single note, whatever, on the guitar. But a lot of it's just learning chords and then singing the melody on top of it. And I did have one teacher at one point that taught basically piano the way guitar teachers teach guitar, when it was all about, it was about chords and scales, and then creating your own songs instead of trying to learn like you learned initially, the classical way of playing every note perfectly that's written on some sheet music.
Yeah, 100%. I taught piano actually for a season, and I found that when I was teaching these young kids, they're like, yeah, I mean, we got to learn our notes. It's gonna help you to be able to navigate and understand that. But then at the same time, let's play. Like, this is a toy. Let's play with the toy, as opposed to, do your chores, which is sometimes feels like that with classical music. Oh, I got to get it exactly right. You're following somebody else's vision. You're following somebody else's intuition and vision and song, but to help people actually start loving and being able to make themselves. It's such a gift. It's such a gift to be able to make music.
Sounds like it was really good therapy for you growing up, and probably
it really was
to this day.
100%.
You have a Twitch stream from 3 years ago. I don't know if you'll remember this, but it was an improv, and the title of just on YouTube is "I Can't Afford to Lose You When You're Running Away," and really the song was like "Truth Told," probably lost in a melody. I don't know if you recall this or not, but I just wondered if you ever finished it, because I can't find it on Spotify, and it was such a good improv. I was like,
thank you. That is so, what, that kind of thing, that whole idea, I feel like, is what I've been doing for the past so many years. Is I'll start something, I'll love it, it's fun, it's exciting, and then getting it to the finish line really it takes a lot of effort, right? It's very easy. I could sit down and write a song right now in a second, but not have it fully complete, not have the second verse, not have the this and that. And then I find to be able to hold on to it and take it all the way through the end, it's just really hard. It's hard to finish, but at the same time, I'm aiming to do that. I want to do that. But this is what happens. There's and this happens to lots of other musicians too, is that they've got a whole closet full of these halvesies, these half songs, and these, ideas that are like, oh, that's a cool one. That, my voice notes is just, oh, that's a good one. That's a good. When am I going to sit down and finish it? I remember a little bit. I know when I was doing that on Twitch, but I can't remember the song now. But I would say that if I could hear it, I'd be able to kind of jump right into it. So it's the idea where it's like, as soon as I can get the vibe again, I can kind of, get into that again. But yeah, I it takes a lot to actually finish the song. And I mean, it happens to a lot of people, but I'm trying to get better at that. It's more of the discipline of it.
Yeah, it's really hard, because I probably have, I don't know, 150 song starters.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Have chord progressions and some melody in there, no words yet, or no melody. Sometimes it's just, here's a great chord progression and a cool sound on a synthesizer or something. And I think it was Prince that once he had an idea, he would not stop until it was recorded, right? So he would call
an
engineer like at 1 a.m, and they would be there till 6, and he would lay down all the track, sing it, and just finish it. So I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to go, okay, I'm focusing on this thing until it's complete. At least it's a finished demo, start, middle, end.
Well, and there, I feel like as you're talking, I'm thinking about the idea of this. There's two parts to it, right? The first part is the passion and the excitement of, oh, I found something new. Oh, this is fun. And then getting over that to, okay, now the discipline, record it right, do the work to like get all the lyrics right and that whole thing. And that typically just takes me way longer. It's not necessarily arduous. Like it's not this super horrible thing. It just takes a long time, and you have to stay in this state of kind of being excited about it, but then like doing, eating your vegetables in the midst of that. And I feel like I think our stories are not are not unique by far. I think tons of musicians love the starting and have a very hard time finishing, but it's required. I mean, that's perfect example with Prince. Like, he's a finisher. He's not going to say, "Oh, I've got this idea." If Prince with all of his ideas could have still been Prince, but then we would have never known. We would have never known him, because he would have never put anything out. That's inspiring for sure.
Yeah. And I love when I watch your videos and your TikToks and things and your improv, because you're immediately singing melody on top. And I saw this clip of John Mayer where he says, anytime you start, coming up with a chord progression, if you're not immediately going to and singing on top of it, you're wasting your time. So I find your videos very inspiring because you don't have the words yet. You're, it's not really scatting, but you know what I mean? You're just making up words, or you're pulling some words in sometimes, but you're putting melody immediately on top. And I think that's what musicians who write songs, that's what they do.
Yeah. And it's the easiest way to start, really, because then you get the shape right. And then you have to figure out, well, what words are actually going to fit into this mold. It's essentially you have the mold just right. And, for the most part, you can play the entire song like that. You can play with all the verse and the chorus and then the verse again, the bridge, all that whole thing. I approach songwriting now is always starting that way. I just start playing, and it's a vibe. We'll do this at the end if you want to, but the idea is that it's a vibe first. It's a feeling, right? What kind of feeling are we getting into? And then inside of that feeling, there's only so many notes. And typically with pop melodies, I mean, gosh, it's like there's like three different notes. I mean, hit me, baby, one more time. Okay, that's 2 notes, and we're just going back and forth between them. So it's not like we're doing rocket science here. But to find the words, I mean, John Mayer is a perfect example of this, where he is so accessible. The words are unique and fresh, and yet it's so easy to understand. And even pop melodies are so simple. It's just a simple song. Oh, it's the same 3 chords. Okay, sure. But there's a reason why Coldplay is Coldplay and John Mayer is John Mayer, is that they take those, they play within the bounds. I mean, John Mayer, I guess, is, he's doing super fancy stuff with guitar, but they play within the bounds, but they give it such a fresh new feeling. It's the same 4 chords, but it's just this extra layer on top of it. Plus then the meaning of the song, which then hits you at the heart. That's just really difficult to do. It's like the iPhone with the 1 button. It's like, well, my kid could have thought of that. But to get to that simplicity took a lot of engineering and a lot of thought to be able to make it so simple.
There's one other question I have about your music. On Spotify, you have a Falling Asleep at the Grammys. I don't know if you remember that. This is a 45-minute song. I don't know if it's an improv sesh or...
Yeah.
The question is, it Grammys as in your grandma's, or the Grammys like as in...
No, I thought about... I'm trying to remember where that came from now. But yeah, the idea, I guess I'm thinking about this idea of like, lulling people to sleep, playing the pretty piano, playing these long, pretty piano pieces, thinking about where would they have a place, or where would they be used, or what would it be? And I just had this vision of, just kind of, zoning out and listening to this and falling asleep at the Grammys. I'm trying to figure out where that exactly came from. But yeah, I meant not my grandmother's, but the Grammys is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
That's awesome. So my daughter begged me to ask you about your hat that you sometimes wear in your TikTok.
Yeah.
Your captain's hat. What tell me the story behind this.
You know what? I just don't even know what I'm doing at this point, and just trying a bunch of stuff. The idea is that if you show up vanilla, if you show up looking like everybody else and doing like everybody else, then there's no way to recognize you. But as soon as you're, doing anything different, it's like building a brand, right? The idea is that you do something different, and then you continue to do that and hold on to that so that people can recognize you. Right? It's more about recognition because this is such a, overwhelming world with so many different people and so many different people talking. I know there's one guy that I see on Instagram. He's always wearing he's always holding a yellow crowbar. And there's another guy who, he's a music business guy. He's always got a cigar. He's not smoking a cigar. He's just holding it. Yeah. And it's that idea, like having the thing where then allows people to place you. Oh, that's the guy with the versus if there's nothing distinguishing or different about you, even if people want to share you, it's like, oh, it's a guy, he was wearing a shirt. Like, okay, I have nothing. I have no way of recognizing it. So I think I'm in a season right now of just playing. And, I've had vision now of kind of throwing paint on my face and then having paint on my fingers and playing the piano and getting paint all over the piano. I haven't quite crossed that bridge yet, but doing things like that, that's kind of more the marketing angle. and realizing too that the musicians that break through, they have their art extends way into the visual. They are curating their music. The music has to be good, but then they curate this whole vibe and this vision. And that's something that I've never been good. I've never really been super fashionable, but anybody can learn anything. And so I'm just trying to push into this new world and just try stuff and see how it goes. But yeah, sometimes I like wearing the hat. Sometimes it's kind of hard with the headphones. So sometimes I just wear the glasses.
Yeah, I love the glasses too. That's part of it, right?
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just reminds me of Chapel Roan, and I love that. For her, she goes by Chapel Roan.
So visual.
And Chapel Roan is a project. The whole thing. It's not just the music. But I think a lot of musicians think that, the music should speak for itself. But in today's day, it's kind of hard to break through without that whole persona. Well,
yeah, and I mean, people do. I mean, when you think of John Mayer, you're not thinking, it's not that he's not Chapel Roan by a long shot, but he's also got his own vibe. He's got his own thing. Certainly there's people that are, or Josh Groban, he just kind of puts nice clothes on and sings because his voice is so distinctive.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where I realize, I love playing and I love doing this whole thing, but I haven't really extended my art into the visual sphere. And I know I've got it in me, but I just haven't really taken the time, because I've been, when I sit down to make music, I'm not thinking, how should I look? What should I wear? I'm thinking, what's the song gonna? My mind is 100% here. But again, to get seen, to be able to stand out, you've got to be able to have that duality of the vocal, of the song, with the visual part to really break through, I think.
Okay, last question for you. What's your favorite chord?
Ooh, you know what? There's a it's maybe not a chord, but more of a shape. The idea is like if you play something very, very simplistic like this. It's very blocky. The shape of it is like, I don't know how to say this. Just very, very cut and dry, very like play school toy.
Cookie
like
cutter.
That's cookie cutter. Yeah, exactly. It's like if you're gonna like teach somebody a new chord, It's like, here's the chord, right? But you could flip a chord over. Like you can play a chord like this, and then you can take the bottom and put it on the top. And then you can take the bottom and put it on the top. So we basically have three versions of the same chord. We've got the original, then we kind of flip it over, and then we kind of flip it over one more time. And then, of course, if you flip it over one more time, then you'd get right back to the beginning. It's just higher up the octave. So I typically like playing the kind of the second variation. So not the original block one, but where we go up just one. But then I also put a second on it. Okay, so a second, if we're talking in music, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So a second is the 2. 1, 2. Now it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It's this in the C of this. So it's kind of fighting. But what happens is when you throw it on the top, it gives it a little bit of something. This is boring. And this is with something else. It's very slight, but it's kind of like putting salt and pepper and spices on your food. Like, yeah, you can eat it, just, put it in the microwave and you're done. Or you could say, I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so what happens is you mix the notes that work with the notes that don't work. You have to make sure you have more notes that work than the notes that don't work, or else you're going to flip-flop the thing and be all confusing. But the idea is if you add a little bit of spice or a little bit of some notes that don't fit, now it gives it a little bit of a flavor. So that right there, I could have played the same thing. But instead of doing that, I'm flipping over the chord, I'm adding a little bit of spice, and it just has a nice feel. Even that, you can hear it fighting. It's fighting with itself. The chord is actually this. But I'm playing lots of notes that don't work. I could play simple. And we can even go back and forth between let's just play the notes that work and then let's go to some notes that don't work and then just kind of go back and forth. You can make a whole song just like that. And then flip to a different chord progression or a different chord. Devenez le souci, c'est venir nos années, d'abnoy, d'abmevi. Stumbling sunny, stepping even nobody. Oh, honey. Put some verb on. So basically, this is the way that I write songs, is that we just start with, how's that verb sound? Does that sound better?
No, great.
Whoa. So what we do is we find some chords to play with. Again, with pop songs, we've got basically 4 chords. Essentially, it's just 1, 4, 5, 6. And if you want to think about 1, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's basically the bass note. So when I say 1, 4, 5, 6, we're just basically moving the bass note around. But this is basically just 6, 4. And then within 6, we play 6, and then we play a variation of 6. So we're kind of wobble in there, and then we kind of go on to 4, and we kind of wobble there. All right, so here we go. Down to 4. Devenez love so sweet, devenez en ta vie, la faire sweet, n'amnésie, somebody bless I need, taking your love so sweet, la faire sweet, amazing. So now we have to do something else, right? We've stayed there for a while, we got to do something different. So now this either goes right to a chorus or whatever else, but we can't go back to the 6 because now it's going to be too boring. You're going to hold on to it for too long. So where can we go, right? So we're here, and then we're here. We can go to the 1. Servir love, servir his face, holding our savage, holding love, seven is dancing. Hey mama, da sweet. Then we can just go back to that original sound. So basically, the way that I start songs, if I have no idea what I'm doing, and also if I have no inspiration, is just mathematical. It's what key, and then it's what time signature. So give me a letter from A to G, and feel free to say sharp or flat or just nothing.
I will say D.
D, great, easy. And then are we going in 3/4, 4/4, or 6/8?
Let's do 4/4.
4/4. So 1, and then fast or slow?
Let's do medium.
Medium. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Diving away, diving away to light. The sound away, and I'm all with me mind, stopping it all the same. She been in all that I know, living is roaring. Go somewhere else now. Devin all is living here, she's loving here on this love to know. Taking it, told us in awareness, loving around that I go. And then now, we can either go back down to a gentle energy, or we can explode. So it's all this kind of energy management too, of like, well, where do you are you feel, is this the time where everything just goes crazy? Or is this the time where you kind of pull back and you kind of tease a little bit? And at the beginning of a song, I could have actually made a case to go either direction. We could either go and just kind of just calm down again, or sound loving you, this loving him, this ever be love time, this song is love, because all the sound we answer down, there's heavy love, keeping it on the sound, knowing I know, somewhere, some doors, and then we're basically back home, and then we'll basically take whatever we did, and we'll copy paste that, and then we'll bring that forward, and then do different, kind of the same sort of melody, but then we change the words, and then after we get that, and so that's the verse, and that's the chorus, and the verse and the chorus, and now bridge has to be totally different, maybe not totally different chords, but just a totally different vibe. So sometimes what you want to do is you want to take a song that you've written that's a completely different song, and then just sneak that in, and that'll be the bridge. And then we just go back to the verse and the chorus. So this is the way that I write. I sit down. Sometimes I wake up with a song, or I've got a melody, and I'm singing it. I'm trying to kind of peck around and figure out where is that or what is that. But I'm always thinking in the shape of the Nashville number system. And basically 1, 4, 5, and 6. These are the only chords you ever need. 1, 2 minor, really. 3 minor, 4, 5, and 6. And really all these songs, all these amazing songs, can be played just with 1, 4, 5, and 6. the Free Willy song. I played this in C when I was like 8. It's 1 to a 5, back down to a 1. So Michael Jackson. Top hit is just we're playing a 1 chord and then we're playing a 5 chord, and that's it. And of course, then you've got the whole, you've got his whole vision and everything he's doing, and his beautiful voice and the lyrics and everything. Pop music is so simple, and yet there's so much you can do with it. So I love it that I'm constrained to a box, essentially. I have to stay inside the box, but then I've got to be creative inside the box. And that's really where I have the most fun.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Eddie. I really...
thank you.
For being generous with your time today. So happy to meet you. I wish you so much success in bringing joy to others through your music. And I will link to how people can find you on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And so thank you so much for being on the show today.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for asking.